You were sorry.
How would COVID vaccines work in your body? Here are 3 things to know. Number 1, a vaccine is basically a training session for the immune system. Vaccines teach the immune system to look for the key features of a virus. So when a virus does show up, it's ready to fight it off. Number 2, a vaccine gives your body a plan to recognize the virus. Then your immune system starts preparing by making antibodies, or fighter cells, that stay in your blood as protection in case the virus tries to invade. What this means is you get immunity against the disease without having to get sick first. Number 3, when enough people's bodies know how to fight off a virus, it has nowhere to go. That slows the spread. When people get a vaccine, we're able to stop the spread quicker and get closer to ending the pandemic. To learn more, go to covidvaccinewa.org. A message from the state of Washington.
The Beat of the Fox with Nastiness is back on K-Fox Night Beat.
Yo, what's the deal? It's the legendary Hall of Fame DJ Mixmaster Ice from UTFO.
What's up? Who you thought this is? This is Sir Mix-a-Lot.
And this is Terry Lewis.
And I'm Grand Mixer GMS.
What's up, y'all? This is DJ Third Degree.
This is JJ Hudson from the High Children family.
Sunday nights from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's K-Fox Night Beat with DJ Nastiness.
Bringing back the memories.
Bringing back the memories.
Bringing Seattle's hottest music.
Bringing Seattle's hottest music. Rainier Avenue Radio .world.
That's not Illinois.
Peace.
If you or a family member are 55 or over and need nursing home level care, but want to keep living where you are, check out Providence Elder Place PACE. This program offers healthcare, housing, transportation, and recreational activities. There are no co-pays or deductibles, and it's covered through Medicare and Medicaid. Providence Elder Place PACE works to keep you healthy and in your home. Call 206-320-5325 or visit providence.org Elder Place. Providence.org Elder Place.
Would you like to see when your favorite Rainier Avenue Radio show comes on? Check out our show schedule, updated weekly at rainieravenue.radio.world.
Welcome to Real Estate and Money, a half-hour program on Rainier Avenue Radio.world designed to help you whether you're a buyer, seller, investor, or renter in real estate. Your hosts are 2 local professionals who will escort you on your journey. Violeta Strash, who has years of media advertising and marketing experience and brings this extensive knowledge to John L. Scott Real Estate and all our clients. And Tina Lombard, who is a mortgage loan originator with guaranteed rate affinity, with over 28 years of experience. And now here's Violeta and Tina.
Yes, hello, everyone.
Hello. Hi.
Nice to see everybody today.
How is everybody today?
Doing good. Look at all those beautiful flowers you have behind you.
I know. I wish they were in my yard.
I know.
They're closer to the mountain, as you can see.
Well, wow, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Of course, we're into spring. We're into summer. We're almost at the summer equinox, which would be June 21st. We have a very special guest with us today. We have Mr. Dale Carroll, who is going to be telling us about the market, gentrification. We're going to be talking about the mortgage rates as we see it today and how that's going to affect the market. But before that, go ahead and call your friends and family up and let them know that we're on. And if they'd like to get some more information, have them dial in.
And first of all, I wanted to say a belated happy birthday to Miss Tina Lombard.
Thank you.
She had a fabulous weekend. I saw the pictures.
Yes.
Crazy gal.
Little outfit,
It was a lot of fun, right?
It was a lot of fun.
And you guys, she's only like 39. So
41. Let's just not get crazy. I am 41 years
41?
old.
41? Oh.
Yes.
Okay. I'll let you be 41. All right. So we're going to start it off with my market update. And there are 3 primary counties here in Washington State. First of all, we're looking at King County. Last week, so we're looking week to week at residential only. Active listings, we had 466. 307 went pending last week, and 467 sold at an average price of $1,160,000. $157,000, which is down 4.5% from last year, which was $1,106,000. So May, I can give you May numbers for days on the market. Last May was 11. This May, 24. So a little bit up, 2 weeks almost. Being on the market before it sold. Percent of the list price, 108% last year. This year, pretty even selling at sales price, so 100% to the list price. And then showings per listing, 18 showings last May.
Wow.
8. Yeah, 8 this year. So it's down 10. But you know what? People are very discerning now. And, they know what they want. They're going to go out there and get it. So, sellers, be ready. Things are still moving pretty fast. Showings to pending. Sellers, 25 showings before you go to pending last year. And this May, 18.
Mm-hmm.
So it's taking less showings to get your house almost sold. You're on the pending status. All right. In Pierce County, active listings last week, 255 listings. Pending was 127, and sold inventory was 223 at an average price of $619,000, down a little bit, 3% from last year. Last year was 601.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and then May of last year, days on the market, 13 days on the market.
You can zoom from your phone.
Now it went up a couple weeks.
Yeah, I sent you the link.
To 29. Percent list price, 104% of list price last May, pretty even. So we're at list price this year. And then showings showings per listing. I always get that wrong, guys. I don't know why. Showings per listing, 10 showings per listing. And then 6 showings this May. And then showings to get to pending last year was a little over 2 weeks at 16 days. 16 showings, and then 14 showings this year before you get to pending. Then, last but not least, we are in Snohomish County with inventory last week, 182 active listings, 138 went pending, and 170 sold at an average price of $874,000, up in Snohomish County from last year. Last year it was $809,000, the average price. Days on the market, last May, we were looking at 11. This May, that's last month, 27, up a couple of weeks this year. Percent of the list price, 107% last year, and down a little bit to 98% of list price this past May. Showings per listing, 15 showings last week for the same time last year in May, and then showings per listing this last month of 7 showings. Showings to pending, 20 last May, and down a little bit, 15 showings to get to pending last month. So there you have it. That's our market report for the area. Thank you. Where are you? Oh, I can't hear you, Tina.
Yes, here we are. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and talk about the mortgage rates really quick and show you what they're doing. Right now, I pulled up the mortgage rates from NerdWallet. As you can see here, that the 30-year fixed rate is at 6.811. This is the national average, and that's as of today. The 20-year fixed rate is at 6.537. The 15-year is at 5.854. The 10-year is at 5.9. And then we'll go to the arms really quick here. The 7 arm has a national average of 6.623. And you see that's not too much of a difference from a 30-year fixed rate. So it's not really a good deal. You got the 5-year arm that's at 6.449. Still not a real big deal between a 30-year or 5-year arm. A 3-year, you see a significant difference. It's 6.125. So we've got about 7.5 or something of a difference there. A 30-year fixed rate FHA, which is really interesting, is 6.082. So if you do have a conforming rate that your friends are talking about, or they're saying, hey, you've got a good enough credit to get a conforming loan is at 6.8. However, the FHA is at 6.082. So sometimes I'll tell my people who qualify for conforming mortgages to go ahead and hit a 30-year fixed FHA just in case, because sometimes the FHA with the FHA reduced MIP of 0.55 sometimes a better deal than a conventional loan. The 30-year fixed VA is at 5.79 on a national average. And as you can see, VA is always a good bet. And it is a little bit lower than FHA, but those are only for people who qualify with the VA benefits. Now, if you scroll down just a little bit there, Daniel, on that screen, just a little bit, there you go. The mortgage rates, you'll see the mortgage rate trends. Now, the annual percentage rate, which is actually the cost of the entire loan, including the fee and the interest rate, plus all the closing costs that are involved in the loan. And that's how you get the APR. You see here the national average with 30-year mortgages, their APR average is 7.49. Okay, I'm sorry, that's a 5-year ARM. I'm sorry, the 30-year is at 6.88. Okay, so even though the 5-year ARM may have a lower rate, they may have a higher price in closing that loan. So when you compare apples to oranges, the APR kind of gives you an indication of what really costs more. So that 5-year ARM, as you can see at 7.494, is actually going to cost you more than a 30-year fixed at 6.88. Of course, the 15-year, the APR for the 15-year is at 5.968. So all bets are, if you can do a 30-year mortgage, go ahead, take that 30-year mortgage. If rates go down, you could always refinance. But if rates should go up, you're going to be looking pretty. About 6 months ago, I was telling people, go ahead and lock that 30-year mortgage, even though it's at 5.8. Go ahead and lock it. So a lot of people are sitting in the last couple of months. They were locking loans at 6% or 5.5 or 5.625, but they kept saying, hey, I want to take a 5-1 ARM, so on and so forth. So the 30-year fix actually is a good deal. If you can get a 30-year fix, go ahead and grab it, and don't be tempted to take a 5-year ARM or a 7-year ARM or a 3-year ARM if you're going to be in the property longer, because 30-year fix is where you want to go. Any old person will tell you that, right, V?
Yes, absolutely.
Daniel, yeah, they'll tell you that. Adjustable ARM. When I got my first loan, it made sense because the rates were like 8.75, and my adjustable ARM, my rate was like 6 point something, and there was a big difference in the payment, and it was our first home, and it made sense. So if it makes sense, go ahead and take a 3-1 ARM or a 5-1 ARM if you're going to stay in the property for less than 3 years, or if you're going to stay in the property less than 5 years. But if you're going to stay in that property for more than 7, 8, 9, 10 years, just go ahead and take a 30-year fixed mortgage. Okay.
Yes.
It makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot
Save
of sense.
some money and refi down the road.
Yes. So really quick, are you getting people still kind of wondering about the rates, or they're scared off because of the rates?
We talk about it, and then I managed to kind of talk them off the ledge, because at any time it's all a crapshoot, right? There's a lot of people that are anticipating what's going to happen till the end of the year, but you never know. It's all just a guessing game, and all we have are guesstimates for you. We can say it's going this way or that way, but you never know. These mortgage rates are changing daily, and so let's lock it in now, because if what's the alternative? If you're renting, your rent is going to go up. If you think that you are going to go on a month to month because you don't like the increase that they're proposing to you, but if you go month to month and then think, okay, I'm going to get my house in about a month, I can go find something, get it. Sometimes it's not that quick because inventory is low. It's still low.
It's very low.
Yeah, predictions were like, the spring market's going to be great. It's going to be hopping again. But there are sellers, on the other hand, that are still kind of cautious about where they want to go with this.
Right.
And so the buyers are, I just tell them, if you need a house, don't rent. Get a house. Let's get a house for you now, and avoid the month-to-month option with horrendous rate increases, or locking in another annual lease. You don't want to do that.
No, you don't.
So let's go and let me help you find a house.
Right.
Or your first dream home. There are a lot of options out there for financing.
Right.
Tina has them all. So yeah, let's get your dream home now or your next home now, whatever it is. I will help you. Tina will be there to make sure you're financed properly.
Right. And the thing is, and just like, financing properly, that's a big thing that Violeta just said right there. You need to finance properly. If you get to the wrong loan, it's not going to do service. If you get to the right loan, you're going to be you'll have the right payments for the right house. And so Violeta, you know this. It's all too common that I'll tell a client, hey, you qualify for $800,000. And they're like, oh, I found a house at $849. Can you please give us $49,000 more? Oh my gosh, we love the house. And they beg and they plead. And, it's a no. It's a no. And the reason why is because there are ratios that the government will allow or the conventional loans will allow. They may only allow 43% of your debt to income ratio. And if you're at 43.5, you don't qualify. So when we come back around on the other side, we're going to talk about the interest rates, how it's going to affect your payments, and how it's going to affect your buying power. But it's something that you want to pay attention to if you do start looking for a home.
Okay.
Tune in to Real Estate and Money every Tuesday afternoon from 2:30 to 3 here on Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Join your hosts Violeta Strash with John L. Scott Kent North and Tina Lombard with Guaranteed Rate Affinity. They'll help you navigate the waters of our volatile real estate market and offer you some guidance on how to make your hard-earned money work to make your dreams come true. Learn about current trends, get tips on financial matters, and have fun, interactive discussions about your home inside and out. That's Real Estate and Money.
Great. So I just talked to my guest today. He can't get in for whatever reason. He's having technical problems. So that's okay. We're going to keep on going. On going. So we're going to talk about the interest rates being higher. So last week I really scared everybody because the interest rates were like 7.6 and it was something freakish. In Colorado, the average rate was 8.062 or something. That was in the state of Colorado. So these are scary numbers. So what happens to you? So if you do qualify for a home at $700,000 at a rate of 6.5, well, if the rate goes to 6.7 or 7%, then at $700,000, your payment is going to be higher. So if your payment is going to be higher, then you may not qualify for that. So as far as your buying power, now you've got $700,000. Now with interest rates going higher, maybe you're approved for $680,000 or $685,000. So be really quick. What happens if you have a client and they've been approved, let's say, since February, and the rates were like 6%, and they call me up, they're like, Tina, I want a pre-approval letter, for the $600,000 you told me about. And I'm like, now the rate's 7%, and now your buying power is $550,000.
Yeah, they didn't lock down. They didn't lock down because once they do, you have 90 days, right?
Well, you can't lock it if you have a property.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And then what's happening is median prices have come down a little bit because the interest rates are high. People are qualifying for a lower amount. Mm-hmm. So we just have to adjust that to where people can buy. Mm-hmm. And maybe it's not 700, maybe it's more like a 650. Mm-hmm. So that's what I see happening. And that's happened to a couple of our clients who've not locked down anything yet. And just having a hard time finding the right home. And I went through something with someone. You just don't want to settle if this is your last forever home. Mm-hmm. Make sure it's the one that you want. Make sure the inspection goes through correctly. And and then you go to pending and you just sit back because Tina's got you covered. She's going to finish up the financing to get you, on to a 20-day close, 21-day close in some cases. But again, there's a lot of opportunities out there, and you guys have to take advantage and make sure your real estate really understands what your needs are when they're searching for a home. Yeah.
And the thing is, a lot of people say, okay, wow, Tina, I no longer qualify for $600,000. I'm at $550,000. Well, guess what? That's just like it's the rest of the world is going through the same thing. And one of the reasons why the government wants to higher the rates or sustain the heights at a certain level is because they don't want inflation to run amok. Yeah. So, when the rates were 2.7, 2.5 during COVID. Houses were popped on the market at 700,000, and before the day's end, they were at 780 or 800,000. Because of people like, oh my God, for this much money, I can buy a $700,000 house. So the houses started going up in price, and up and up and up and up. So it got to the point where you really couldn't buy anything, even at 2.7. You're buying a house at 700,000, whereas last week it was at 500,000. So do you guys remember a year ago or 2 years ago when you put you see a house on the market at 600,000, and then by the week's end it's like 670? Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
And or 680. And so somebody was at like a 3% interest rate, and the house was 500. Now it's like 650,000. So they were paying a big difference, even though the rate was lower. So what the government is trying to do, they're trying to stop all that so that the houses start going, then they don't start going crazy. Prices and values start going crazy because everybody's making offers because everybody's at 2%. So what happens now when the interest rate's higher, the market has really pulled back, and sellers are like, you don't want my house at 600,000 anymore? Buyers like, no, we don't want to make those payments. We only qualify for 550. And then the sellers are like, maybe we better sell for 550. Okay, so it's a way of getting the market to go down.
Yeah.
So it's not like, you've got the whole market, the average price is 850,000 and the rates go up and now the market is still 850,000. No, because you may not have 1,000 people interested in that county. Now you may have 200 people interested in that county for that particular house. So the houses are not starting to run out of control. So what I have seen on my side is I have sellers willing to pay closing costs. Sellers are saying, yeah, okay, fine. I'm not going to lower my price, but I'll give you $15,000 worth of closing costs.
Mm-hmm.
The sellers are like, yeah, I'm not going to lower my price, but I will do it. I will buy a 2-1 buy down or a 3-2-1 buy down for you. So, it's a way of stopping these houses. If you start here in the summertime and the interest rates were 6%, you'll have like 20 people looking at the same house. Now the interest rates are 8%. Maybe you'll have, 5 or 8 people looking at the house.
Right.
So you use it to your benefit. What I like to do sometimes, when people come to me and my management, my underwriters, and even myself, they feel like the client is kind of rocky. The maximum I qualify for is 750. That's the max. We don't tell them to go out there and buy a house at 750. We tell them find a house at 700, because with all the competition and all the stuff that's going to happen, you may end up at 720. If you look at a house at 750,000 and there's 5 other people looking at 750,000, then the person that wins the house may get the house at 755, 765, 770. But I told my clients 750, and now they're coming back to me. Oh, I love this house. It's going to go up to 760. I have to get it at 760. I have to get it. It's only $10,000 more. The answer is no. That's the maximum. You cannot go a button over that. So when I tell people, hey, you're approved for 750, but you really need to, in order to get that type of a house, start at 700,000, start at 720, because you cannot go over. Does that make sense?
So you start low and meet somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Typically is how the negotiation goes.
Yes.
And then then you got a buyer saying, oh, I qualify for that much. Okay, tell me what the payments are. And then the payments are, say, $4,000, and they go, oh, we only want to pay $3,000.
Yes. Okay, then I tell them. And you know what, V is telling you something so true and so valid. It happens so many times. I'll tell a client, yeah, I can get you 750,000, but it's $4,500 a month. Like $4,500, I'm not going to pay for loan $4,500. I want my payments to be $3,000. Great, to find a house of $400,000. Well, I don't want a house of $400,000. I want to have $750,000, and it was back and forth. And so I have to tell them, listen, through our paperwork, you can. We know you make $20,000 a month. You don't want to make a $4,000 payment. That's on you. But just know you can't go over $4,500. And so this is a tug of war. So I tell people right now, when and a lot of realtors will tell you this, you don't want to buy the cheapest house on the block. Okay. Because when everybody doubles in value, you're going to double in value, right? So kind of like what I did. But, I bought a house at $160,000 years ago, way before my daughter was born, 26 years ago. And, a lot of my friends bought $300,000 homes. I could afford more. I just didn't want to, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they bought $300,000 homes. I bought like a $160,000 home. When everything doubled, their house went up to $300,000, went up to $600,000, and they gained $300,000. My house went up to $300,000. I gained $150,000. Because I was dinking around with, I don't want to pay all this. I don't want to pay all that. I think my payments were something like $600. It was just something ridiculous. And I was making way much more money. But a lot of times it takes your realtor to help you, or it takes for you to sit down and say, where am I investing my money? Am I pouring $1,000 a month into my IRA that's getting 2%, or am I in a healthy, happy market like Seattle or Colorado or Denver, Colorado, where I can get more out of my house? I can get more out of my house. Mm-hmm. So I tell people, if you can afford $4,500 a month payment, then do it. And we're not being crazy. We know you got your car payment. We know you got your health care. You got your taxes. We know we've looked at your credit report, looked at all your student loans and all your credit cards, so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. So we say you qualify for $4,500, you qualify. It's not going to put you under. Okay. So, and if you're like, why if you I don't want to pay, fine, then get a $400,000 home. It's all you. Why can't I get? Okay, you talk to your wife, or you figure it out. But I just try to tell people, I understand you don't want to go to your limit. We don't give you a limit. We are conservative. We know you qualify for this much. We will tell you that much because we don't want you to go under. The banks do not want to have a negative loan on their books. So if we say you qualify for this much and you're like, I don't want to pay, well, you don't have to pay. But don't come back to us and say, well, how can I get $700,000? Payments of $2,000 a month. Win the lotto. I mean, that's going to be my answer because it's not going to happen. So you want to take a realistic view of what you're doing. When your realtor says this is what you qualify for, these are all the houses at $500,000, all your houses at $1.2 million. You decide. And if you go to your banker and they say, okay, the payments are like $9,000 a month, and if you say I don't want to make the $9,000, well, then don't make it. But figure out what is the right home for you. And a lot of times I tell people buying a house is like buying a car. You see it on paper. You're like, I'm not going to pay that much money. Then you walk into the house, you breathe in the air, you walk around the house. It's got a swimming pool. It's got a butler. It's got a skylight. It's got the most wonderful neighbors. It's on a cliff. You're like, I can pay this $4,500 a month. Yeah, yes. I can see it. So if you are qualified for a certain dollar amount, let's just say $5,000 a month, and you're like, I can't do that. I don't want to do that. Go look at a house at that price range. And if you fall in love with it, you're going to be happy. But if you don't fall in love with the payment, then maybe the house isn't right for you. Okay. I've gone to places I'm like, I'm not getting a button over $200 on a car. I'm not paying a button over $200 in payments. And the auto dealers are like, oh, this woman, what I mean? And I'm like, nah. And then I sit in my Camaro. I'm like, I will pay $500 a month for this Camaro. I mean, I really like it. If you do it. So if a banker says you qualify for $8,000 a month, it behooves you to go look at houses like that. And if you don't like the house, but if you really like the house, you're like, I got this, Yeah.
And then as an agent, take them to something that they want to make $3,000 payments for. Here's a house for $3,000 a month that we know you're well overqualified for. So what do you think? And the wife will say, oh, hell no. No, I need that kitchen, a kitchen that's better than this. Then you take them to what they can afford. And it's like, yeah, this is it. That other stuff, no.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
If they see their choices in person, not photography that makes, the room look like 10 miles long. Yeah. They actually need to see the house and then make sure it's the one that they want. And if it's not the $450,000 home, it's yes, so we can afford the $600,000 home. Let's do that.
And the thing is, it is very common right now. I see auto loans at $1,200 a month.
Oh,
husband and wife. Okay, $1,200, not $700, not $600. I said $1,200, $1,000. They're buying these $74,000 SUVs. What do you need that for? Where are you going to park it? And $74,000 is not going to appreciate. It's going to depreciate in value.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to depreciate. Until you have a house, don't go out and buy a new car. Don't do that. Why are you paying $1,000 a month where your payment could have been $3,000 for a house? So I tell a lot of people, you qualify for this much, but get rid of that car. Get rid of the person that bought the car, whatever. Just get rid of that car. You don't need $600,000 worth of Macy's. It's not doing anything a month. So I tell people you've got to get yourself in order. Yes, you can qualify for this. eat top ramen, whatever. Don't go out. There are ways. If we say you qualify, you do qualify. If you don't want to qualify, a lot of times people, they've got hobbies, they've got habits, they've got addictions, whatever they got that they don't want to tell anybody. They themselves don't want to give up their house. If a banker says you qualify for $8,000 and you like to go to Hawaii every week, or you like to go to Vegas every week, and this kind of stuff, and you like to spend your money down at the club, you may think, I'm going to need that money for my partying. You need to take a serious conversation. Say partying does not build your life. It does not build wealth. It is not tax deductible. So a lot of times people can't afford it. If we say you can afford it, you can afford it. If you don't want to make those payments, it's because you got something else you got to deal with. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
If you do need to have go down to the club all the time, get a house with a bar in it. I saw a beautiful home this weekend. I was doing an open house.
And charge your friends. Yes, charge your friends, V, to come on in. Yeah.
Okay, just find that house with a bar.
Yeah.
There you go.
But anyways,
time.
Thanks so much, Daniel. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank you everybody for joining us today on Real Estate and Money. We'll see you next Tuesday at 2:30 p.m. and every Tuesday. All right. Goodbye, everyone.
You've been listening to Real Estate and Money with your hosts, Violeta Strash and Tina Lombard. For more information, call 206-717-4490. That's 206-717-4490. Go to the Rainier Avenue Radio.world website to find the Real Estate and Money schedule, or tune into our live show every Tuesday afternoon from 2:30 to 3. We will help you find your dream home.